Let's take a look at using instancing with the fiber effects tools. So I have a flat plane here in the scene, and in order to take advantage of instancing before I ever apply fiber effects, and this is extremely important, you need to get this set up before you apply fiber effects to the scene. We need to take advantage of using a particle emitter. So what I'm going to do is select this object, P for properties, and in the Dynamics tab, I'm going to add emitter. Okay, just click to get the properties, and I'm just going to change a few values. Of course, the nozzle is the surface, but if we want, we can have it randomly placed. We can place it on the vertices and the object normal. We'll just go ahead and use that. I'm going to tell it that I want it to generate, let's do 20 particles, and as you can see, they're randomly placed. Generate by frame. So it's 20 per frame, but I only want for particle limit. In this example, I'm just going to do 20. So it's going to generate 20 particles on frame 1, and that's all it's ever going to generate. Now you can determine, you can decide how many particles you want, and then set the same value here and here, unless you want them to kind of grow, have clumps of whatever hair or fur or grass or whatever appear randomly. I want them to just appear all at once. If I don't want them to disappear, I'm going to go over to the particle tab, and under lifetime, I'm going to set that to 0, which means they're never going to go away. I'm going to move over to the rotation tab, and for rotation I'm going to align to path. I just want to make sure there's no random rotation taking place in my particles. So now I've got my particle set up, and so now I'm set to go over to fiber effects and start figuring out what I'm going to do there. So I'm going to close this down. Control F8 will bring up my processing tab. Add pixel filter. I'm going to add fiber filter. Double click. And I'll just go ahead and close the effects panel down, and I'm just going to slide this over enough so we can see what's going on here. If you have the real estate, you'll probably want to just slide this off the screen. So I'm going to activate this plane, and let's go ahead and draw OpenGL. Give us an idea of what's going on back there. The first thing that I want to do is, if I want to use instancing, I'm going to need the volume only option, because it utilizes Lightwave's volumetric system. So I'm going to need to make sure that volume only is activated. The other thing that I'm going to do is, instead of having the fibers all over this surface, I plan on using instancing. So instead of having them all over the surface, I'm just going to limit them to a small area. So I have a different surface name that I called cloned, and in order to refresh that, I'm just going to move forward and move back in my timeline with the arrow keys, and we can see now I'm only growing, using this surface setting, I'm only growing fibers right here, and I can see that's a lot of fibers, so I'm just going to bring that down, let's say to 10. Let's bring the gravity down a little bit. I'm not going to get too into details on what I want going on my fibers. I just want to get something going that isn't what's there, and so just brought the scale down to 200. Random length, let's go 100, and let's do some tuft, and there we go. That's enough. We'll call this done. We'll call these fibers what we're going for, because really what I want to show is instancing. So what we'll do is we'll go over to the Instance tab, and under Particle System, just make sure you choose the particle emitter, and you can already see in OpenGL we can see our instancing. Let me just slide this out of the way. We can see our instancing here. So if we wanted to have more, of course, we just generate more particles. Let's do a render and see what this is looking like. Okay, so in 11.3 seconds we can see our instancing going on. I wanted to go ahead and do a render because OpenGL is only going to display so many fibers, and as you can see there's some fibers here that aren't showing up here, so it'll give you a good idea what's going on, but I wanted to go ahead and do a render. So we only generated, we only set up this center one, and then using instancing with those particles we were able to place them here. So you can set up as many particles, use as many particles as you want to instance, but this is a good way to take advantage of the volumetric renderer to place these fibers all over the surface of your object. Now, once you have it set up, nothing stops you from going back to, let's go back to Properties, Particle Emitter, and I'm going to go ahead and let's do 40 particles. Let's do 40 as our limit as well. Remember, we want these two numbers to be the same. And let's say for nozzle, instead of object surface, let's do the verts. Okay, and you can see they're going to be in this nice uniformed setup. Let's go ahead and, just for fun, let's do 60 and 60. It's going to take a little longer to render, but it'll be worth it. So we'll have some extra instances there. Okay, so as you can see, if I just were to go ahead and add more and fill this area up, we would have a complete patch all based off of this center one. Now let's go ahead and recap on some of the important things. We need to make sure that we add the particle emitter before we add fiber effects to our scene, and we also need to make sure that we choose volume only and choose the particle emitter for the particle system on this instance tab, and then we'll be set and we can take advantage of instancing with fiber effects.